In this video, I'm going to show you how to create 3D objects using the 3D effect. So, what you're going to do is create a shape. So I'm going to set a rectangle. And this works best if we choose the fill to have a color, and we choose our outline to have no color. I'll show you later why it's better to have no stroke. But to start off, just choose a color. And then we'll create a shape. You're going to create a flat shape first. And then, once you have that flat shape, you're going to come up to the top bar and you're going to come up to Effects. And then going to come to 3D and Materials. And for this purposes, since most of our computers are a little bit older, I'm going to use the 3D version of Classics. But we can see that there's the same settings as Extrude and Bevel, Revolve, Rotate that we see over here that have been updated in the newer versions of Illustrator. But we're going to go with the Classics for right now. So we'll start out with Extrude and Bevel. And we'll get this window. And we can see that it's transformed our flat square into a three-dimensional design. And we can click around and we can kind of set this up free-formly, or we can set the individual ones, or even type them in if we know specifically what angles we want to achieve. We can also change the extrude depth. So right now it's set to 50, but I could change it to very shallow, like 30, or even all the way down to 0. Be careful when you're setting the extrude depth. Click on another setting somewhere, and that will apply the effect. Otherwise, it won't show up immediately. And if you press Enter, it'll apply it. It'll apply the entire thing completely. So just click on another part. I'm going to set an extrude of let's say an even like 30. That seems pretty good. And to make it fit the grid that we've set up, they actually have isometric settings. And we can kind of see down here at the bottom that we can have it isometrically on the left, right, top, or bottom. And the left, right, top, or bottom is where they're starting off the shape. So if I put it isometric left, we can see that the square is figured to the left side. And I can flip that to the top, and we can see the square was fitted to the top. When I'm happy with that, I can press OK. And what's really nice about this is we can see that it still remembers that it is just a flat square. And I can use any of my usual tools, such as the selection tool, to kind of reshape it, and it reshapes so that I can kind of fit it to the way that I want to, move it around, and even duplicate it. And you're like trying to set something like maybe in the back, that you think about what things are in front of what things. So you can come to right click and arrange, and you can send objects to the back to rearrange your various objects. And from there, we can start setting up and very quickly creating our isometric designs. We can even change the color, and it will change as a whole and apply the shadow effect. And notice that we can even give it an outline. Keep in mind, though, that what it's applying the outline to is whatever our top surface is, because we've set it to an isometric top, and then it's just stretching it downward. So you might have to shift and alter things. If I decide that I want to change the 3D effect later, what I can do is over in the properties under the appearances, we can see that there's the effect of 3D, extrude, and bevel. And if I click on that, it'll bring up this menu again. So I can change which direction it's going from. I can change the extrude depth or any other property. And so it's pretty fluid. And this can be applied to all manner of shapes. I can do it to circular ones, to spherical, to triangles. I can even do multiples at a time. So if I set up a couple of these, even if they are different colors, different properties, and I can even do this to words as well. as well as grouped objects. I'm going to change the color of this so that it actually shows up. But as I group or click on multiple of them, I can come to Effect, 3D and Materials. I'm going to come to Classics and apply it. And again, if we wanted to fit this isometric style, choose one of the isometric options. And we can see that it creates some interesting objects, and I can either group them together as usual, I can move them around and alter them. And if I decide that I don't like the effect on there, I can come to the appearances and trash it. And you can see it removes it very cleanly. If you don't see the appearances, come to Window and add the appearances. And so that is how you guys can create three-dimensional objects using the 3D effect.